Hi, welcome to TheatreCast, presented by the EdReach Network, giving educators a voice, a big voice. You've reached episode number 72, being recorded March 2nd, 2015. This is the show where theater teachers and professionals share their passion for theater trends, share practical advice and tips, and ask questions of some of theater's most innovative collaborators. I'm Nick Cusumano, one of your hosts, joining you, and then as always, my partner in crime, Danielle Filas.
Hello
Joining,
from snowy Ohio.
and hello from snowy St. Louis, about to be icy St. Louis, and
We are too. It's like we're right together, Nick.
except we get hit first.
True, true.
We're the first wave. We wanted to share with you this week one to be sure to go to worldtheaterday.info, and find out how you can be a part of that. March 27th, we'd like to have as many people involved as we can. And we put some tiered level and have some badges that you can earn for you and your students. One can be as simple as creating a theater mask with your students and taking a picture of it. How easy could that be? You buy a paper plate. Boom, done. Or you can get really fancy, whatever works for you.
A
And
fancy paper plate.
in addition to that, you can take pictures and share production photos because we always have great shows going on, and what a cool way of sharing what's going on in your school and sharing it with the world. In addition to that, you could also record a 1 to 2 minute video, open up the webcam, and share what theater means to you because we don't realize the effect that it has on us and on our students. And what a great way to find out what your students are thinking, because sometimes, they put on that big front, and so do we. And what a cool way to find out what's going on, and how they feel. A couple of my students, they have this thing called traditions, though they think like no one knows about it, and it should be a big secret.
I
Um,
love I love that you're whispering right now.
and they have a time where they kind of share either what the show's meant to them or how they've grown or that type. And I'm in the background working on programs or getting tickets. It's always interesting to eavesdrop. And they also think that I don't hear, but whatever. We'll see if they watch this episode and call me on it. And then on March 27th itself, we're going to do Hangout Theater and love to connect people from all over the world doing scenes from maybe Shakespeare or other ones that we can have fun, share, connect. I think one of the scenes we'll use is the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet because you have people. Here's one person here and here's one person there, and how cool would that be? So, worldtheaterday.info. Uh, get involved, and looking forward to everyone joining us with that. What I wanted to, and we're going to try to make this a short and sweet episode. Um, as theater people and as ed tech nerds that Danielle and I are, and also if we can make life more efficient, why not? To quote 9 to 5, you know, uh, an office that is efficient. Or no, I'm totally misquoting it, and I've seen it so many times.
We'll just edit that part
Yeah,
out. Don't worry
whatever
about
Roz
it.
says. um, and it is a lot of fun. So I wanted to introduce to you all this Google Forms add-on called DocAppender. What DocAppender allows you to do is it's great for peer evaluations or massive things that need to be spread out into different documents. It's really quick and easy. I'm going to kind of walk us through. I'm going to do a screen share. I would suggest to our listeners that maybe this is one that you watch. It may help you through it a little bit more. Um, so I'm going to quick go to screen share and kind of take you through a little bit of that
And and
process.
and don't be thinking that, wow, Danielle's such a good actor. She seems like she doesn't know any of this. She's doing a great job. I'm not acting. I am excited to learn this, and Nick is going to teach me live. It's something I've been interested in checking out, and I will be playing the part of the novice because I am the novice in DocAppender. I'm very excited.
So what DocAppender does, and there's just a little bit of setup that you have to do to make this work. And I think it works really well in the classroom setting because one, you already know your students. I have tried to show this in a workshop setting with teachers, and that's a little bit harder because I don't know who my people are going to be till they get there. But as teachers in a classroom with a regular set of students, this is wonderful and a great thing to use. What I have done for this to protect students and FERPA and COPA and all those type of acronyms that we need to adhere to, I'm a Star Wars fan. Um, and so what,
Shocking.
yeah, shocking. Um, I'm a Star Wars fan, and what better example of great acting than Star Wars, especially Episode 4. Um, oops, I lost screen share. I'll go back into it. Um, so,
So it
what
looks
I
like
have
you have
here,
a Google form open that you've
yes, I
created
have a
already.
Google form open, and the one thing you want to do is you need to set up a multiple choice question, a checkbox question, or choose from a list question. You need to have that thing that separates, because what we're going to do is this is going to dump whatever information we tell it to into its own Google document. So you need that identifier for that. So what I have done is where on here I have the lack of faith scene, the whining power converter scene, and the big reveal. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't ever seen it. What rock have you been living under? Um,
You deserve to have your alert spoiled.
so we'll put the power converter scene just as our choice, so that's going to be our separator.
Yes.
Whereas if I'm using this for students, it's going to say, let's say I'm doing duet scenes, or someone's doing a speech or a presentation. I would put the student's name there, because then myself and the students could put that um, so that it would separate and put that information into that document we'll create for that student. So I'm going to click continue, and this is just kind of showing you the form backend. We're going to kind of go through how to set up in just a moment, but um, so here I have my scene evaluation, and for me, it's not as pretty, but I just like to put all the information there. So if you have anyone new evaluating, it's all on one page, and they can use the scale part. So 0, 1 through 4, 4 being the top. There's a distinctive difference between your character and your everyday self. Conscious effort, however you break it down. That you can set up on your own. What was my favorite acting moment in the scene and be described in detail? Great
Vocal work.
vocal work. Describe how the actors in the scene portray their characters in the given circumstances. Well, he
Real panic covered with sand.
he's very immature at the beginning. And one aspect of the performance they could improve upon.
The
So,
whole acting part. Oh, sorry, Mark Hamill, if you're a fan.
he's learned since then, but one of his first big roles. So, and then I click submit. Oops, I forgot to grade. So I'm going to grade Mark Hamill's all his
Wow,
acting
you are tough.
clips.
You are super tough.
Now with Google Forms, all of that goes into a
Spreadsheet.
spreadsheet. Thank you.
Yes.
This is the back end of it, just so that you can see that.
So it's the
So we
edit
create
view.
that. It's the edit view. And you could also, if you record your performances and it's public domain work that you're doing, so great for Shakespeare, you could have the students watch that, or great for if you have a missing student.
That's great.
Um,
I like that thumbnail a lot.
this one.
Yeah.
um, so I'm going to just kind of show you how to go through to set up that. So add-ins up here, you're going to add this add-in because it's a Google Form add-in, and there's add-ins on all types of Google Forms or Google Documents, Google Spreadsheets. Um,
And now Forms. Forms was one of the last ones to
mhm,
go.
yeah, yeah, it was one of the last ones to get these cool things. So good add-ons. So over here on the right-hand side, it's pulled up my screen,
And
and we're letting it load up.
you probably had to go to get add-ons and then pick that one, right? I mean, if
Yeah, so
somebody clicks the add-ons menu button, it won't be there.
thank
They have
you.
to go get it. You're
Right
welcome.
here, they click Get Add-ons,
And there's
and
a
we'll
whole
let that load up.
store in there.
Yes, it's really quick and easy. So I just type in DocAppender. Oops. And then it's going to pull it up.
And yours will
And
probably
then,
be a blue one, but
yes,
you
and then
click
you would
that,
click that, and then that would install it.
and it'll say you say yes to everything. It says, "Can
Yes,
we look
it's
into
just
your
asking
deep
permission
soul?"
to create documents on your behalf,
Just don't worry
which
about
you
it.
do.
Just agree to it.
Um, so over here, I'm going to select the folder. So when you set up, you want to create a folder. So it could be naming it after the unit, date, whatever floats your boat to help you be organized. Um, so I already have a folder created, so I'm going to choose that folder.
It's like one of those cooking shows where they already have the dish in the oven and prepared.
Yes. And so it's showing me that folder. I actually need to go back into it. I had the little screen blocking. You just click next because I've already selected it. And so the important part that you need to do is what is that identifier that separates it out? My suggestion, probably for most of your stuff, is the group or the individual student, because then because you need a place for that feedback to go to that's separated by the student or group of students, however it works out for you. So, so I've selected that. Uh, and then you click next. And then it's going to go through my form and it's going to ask me what things do I want to include in there. Probably most of the time, especially in a classroom environment, your peer evaluator's name is probably not a bad choice because it holds them accountable. Um, if you're, and because students are feeding back to each other, I think that brings that level of respect, if that makes sense, that, you know, we want them to provide quality feedback, but we don't want them to they think
Cruel.
they're um, on the internet and at Snapchat and they're throwing where they're just knocking each other's, not being nice. We just want to have that
But if you
available.
didn't want to include that, if
Yeah,
you
you don't have to. It's just
perhaps
a
worried that then they wouldn't be as honest, which can happen too. You just don't check it,
yes,
correct?
yes. And really, on your end, if you have a violator who doesn't, who's not a good digital citizen, because you own the form, you can figure out who it is because you can either make them collect their username or type in their username. So there's ways that if you want to give them that freedom, you could still bust the kid who chooses not to be.
Which is what we always want to do.
Yeah. Well, it's not bad to usually,
Oh,
at
it's
the
good to
beginning of the
have
year.
the ability to do
Yeah.
that. Should you need it?
And so here's my areas of evaluation. So I just click those, and then I really like this for the detailed feedback. Is his ways of collecting that written feedback. Because I've also used this. We had, I want to say, 50 PD things in November, and lo and behold, it fell to me to be in charge of collecting the feedback, and I was so happy because I had did it in August. I had to cut and paste all of them before then, and November when I had to do it again. DocAppender, oh, it was like done. I had to do a
Yeah.
little bit of math with pivot tables on the numerical stuff, and the rest of it gave great feedback. So your choices are bulleted list, vertical tables, and rows in a single horizontal table. We're gonna choose for this one. I like for this one because I have a series of things, the horizontal tables, but it would depend what you're gathering feedback on. If it's just one area, then I would suggest the vertical tables or bulleted list. If you have a whole bunch of feedback from one person, then you might want to do the horizontal table. Then I hit my save changes. And then it's going to take a second to do that. And like on the cooking show, I've already pre-prepared the feedback.
What? You just blew
Well,
my mind.
not pre-prepared the feedback, but the documents, and I would suggest coming up with the documents. So right here we have the various feedback that people have given, and so it's set by. So this is the lack of faith scene. This is my little Google preview in Google Docs. And so here's Tiffany's response. At the top, I can see characterization. Oh, Tiffany did not like their characterization. Tiffany's a high grader.
Tiffany, good Lord.
And
Tiffany clearly needed more hugs growing up.
Tiffany had bugs on her. So her feedback was baby buggy, hubby, and you bug.
Very
Pretended to
deep.
joke, stranger, handler, forcefully. But all of this is done automatically. The students fill out the form, boom, there you go, you're done.
And so so this lives in your drive
And,
then, and you
yes.
share it with the student or?
So what I do with the student, and I'll switch back to my view just so really it's like any other Google form you'd use to grade. So like in Google Classroom, I would Classroom, and we'd pull that up, have our devices up, and say, hey, we're going to watch their performance, or hey, we're going to read their assignment. All they would have to do is select which student they're evaluating, and we've already pre-packaged that or put that into the form while we created it, and then took the time, and all we have to do in Google Docs is in that same folder is create a folder that says Johnny Smith, peer performance 1, Bessie Sue, Jones, Peer Performance 1. And I think actually DocAppender will also create that if it's not too if your long list isn't too complicated, if that makes sense. Um, and then it feeds that data into there. So then I don't have to collect or cut and paste. It just does it for me. How awesome is that? That's like hours back. I seriously spent like three hours cutting and pasting from 600 people, 50 people. Um, Whereas that second time around, same number of teachers, it was already done for me. All I had to do is spend 20 minutes creating Bob so and so Google Docs, Sally Sue IEPs, the title of the thing. So and it identifies it, and boom, you're done. So how awesome is DocAppender for that?
That is terrific.
Really works for me for I think peer evaluations, just because you can get so many people giving feedback to the same person. Whereas sometimes I like using Autocrat for individual feedback or teacher
Right,
feedback or whatever you want
right,
to call it. Um, just because I can play around more with the look of it.
right.
But you could use DocAppender the same way. I could use that for my grading and just go through and pull out what I needed to put in my gradebook. So it's quick and easy and pretty darn awesome. So
And
that's
I'm thinking too, it would work for, we do capstones, so our outside judges, that would be really easy for them
hmm
too,
Oh
to
yeah.
come in.
Anytime you have, I not want to say outsiders, but more than just the teacher, I think it works really well. Or you're doing anything large group. Um, and I'm sure people have many more um, uses for it, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet and focusing in on big use of it. So that's DocAppender.
I love it.
We have,
I could see that you'd use it too if, for like a theater appreciation class, if everybody went to see, um, a, could go see a different set of plays and wanted to evaluate those plays when they got home, they
hmm
could do that, and then you could pull up and see what everybody thought, as sort of a
hmm
snapshot. So instead of it being by student, it would be by play. We all went and saw Richard the Third, and here's what the group thinks about
hmm
that show.
or
Like,
even kind of brainstorming type of stuff too.
yeah, yeah.
Or, not project sign up, but more of, what's your thought on this topic and what's your thought on
Mm.
that topic? Um, just some kind of cool, interesting ways. And it is just to give you a sense. Um, is by, the script is by Jesse Spevik, and he is part of the group, part of the New York school system that Andrew Stillman is, New Vision Cloud Lab. Um, and it's really cool that he wrote this. And I tried to use this earlier, and to me, the form add-on, when it was a script, this just is that much more improved and just boom, quick, done, easy.
I love it. I'm going to definitely play with that.
And so I would encourage, I'm going to put the podcast and the sample examples and some how-to and some a PDF of some instructions real soon on my blog, which is edtechfortheater.com. And Danielle, if people wanted to find out about you, how would they do that?
If you want to cyber stalk me, you can find me on Twitter at Ms. Filas, MSFILAS, or go to my blog, edunerd.blogspot.com.
And if you want to find me on Twitter, it's edtech, the number 4, and theater. and just encourage you to delve in and experiment. And there's so many different cool little things out there. And don't forget to check out worldtheaterday.info and get involved. You have plenty of time. Get involved in whatever way you feel comfortable, but let's celebrate theater and the power it has. So we will see you all soon. Thanks again.